Before we begin, please note that the information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice from a licensed and insured plumber or contractor. Building codes, plumbing regulations, and ADA requirements vary significantly by state, county, and city. Always consult with your local building authority and a qualified professional before undertaking any installation or renovation. The creators of this presentation assume no liability for any damages, losses, or injuries resulting from the use of or reliance on this information. The single most overlooked, yet most critical piece of equipment in your entire business isn't your cash register, your inventory system, or even your front door sign. It's the toilet in your public restroom, and getting the installation wrong is one of the fastest ways to flush your profits, your reputation, and potentially your entire business right down the drain. Think about it. You spend months, maybe years planning your business. You obsess over the logo, the layout, the customer experience. You finally have your grand opening. The place is packed. And then a customer walks up to you looking embarrassed and says, "Hey, your restroom is flooded." Suddenly, your perfect launch day becomes a frantic nightmare of plumbers, wet floor signs, and angry customers who now associate your brand new business with a disgusting, unusable bathroom. That first impression is ruined forever. This isn't a scare tactic. It's a scenario that plays out in new businesses across America every single week. Why? Because most business owners make a critical mistake. They think a toilet is just a toilet. They assume the one you have at home is basically the same as the one you need for a restaurant, a retail store, or an office. That assumption is a multi-thousand-dollar mistake waiting to happen. A commercial toilet is not a piece of furniture. It is a highly regulated, heavy-duty piece of industrial machinery that has to withstand thousands of uses, potential vandalism, and the unforgiving scrutiny of health inspectors and building codes. Getting it wrong means leaks that destroy your subfloors, clogs that shut down your business for a day, fines from the city for non-compliance, lawsuits for not meeting accessibility standards, and water bills that are hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars higher than they should be. But here's the good news. You are not going to make those mistakes, because over the next 10 parts of this series, we are going to give you the ultimate checklist. This isn't just a handful of tips. This is a comprehensive step-by-step blueprint that will take you from a blank concrete slab to a fully functional, code-compliant, and cost-effective commercial restroom. We will demystify the entire process. We're going to arm you with the knowledge you need to hire the right professionals, ask the right questions, and spot the red flags a mile away. You'll understand the lingo, the codes, and the technology so you can manage your project with confidence, ensuring it gets done right, on time, and on budget. This is your master plan for avoiding the single biggest avoidable disaster in a new commercial space. So let's get started. The first section of our checklist is the foundation for everything that follows: pre-installation planning and code compliance. Ignore this and nothing else matters. The most expensive, high-tech toilet in the world is useless if it violates local code. First on the checklist, identify and understand your governing plumbing code. In the United States, most jurisdictions base their local rules on one of two model codes: the International Plumbing Code, or IPC, and the Uniform Plumbing Code, or UPC. Think of these as the two major operating systems for plumbing, like iOS and Android. They cover everything from the diameter of the drain pipe to the amount of ventilation a restroom needs. But here's the critical part. Your local city or county almost always has its own amendments. They take the base code and add their own specific rules. Calling your local building or permit office and asking, "Which plumbing code and which edition year are we currently enforcing?" is the single most important first phone call you will make. Write it down. Get the specific edition. The 2018 IPC is different from the 2021 IPC. This codebook is the rulebook for the most expensive game you'll play in your business. You don't have to memorize it, but you need to know which book your plumber should be playing by. Second on our pre-installation checklist, and this one is a giant: Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA compliance. This is not optional. It is federal law, and non-compliance can lead to devastating lawsuits. A commercial restroom isn't just about providing a toilet. It's about providing accessible facilities for everyone. ADA guidelines dictate incredibly specific measurements. We're talking about the height of the toilet bowl from the finished floor, which is typically between 17 and 19 inches to make it easier for people transferring from a wheelchair. It dictates the exact placement, length, and diameter of the grab bars around the toilet. It requires a specific amount of clear floor space, often a 60-inch diameter turning circle, so a wheelchair can maneuver. The flush handle has to be on the open side of the toilet and be operable with one hand without tight grasping or twisting. I once consulted for a small cafe owner who thought he could save a few bucks by having a handyman install his bathroom. The guy put the toilet 2 inches too close to the wall. Just 2 inches. A lawsuit was filed, and by the time he paid the legal fees and the cost to rip out the entire bathroom, the tile, the toilet, the wall, and reinstall it correctly, that money-saving decision cost him over $15,000 and nearly bankrupted his dream. Do not guess on ADA. Get the specific, current guidelines and measure everything twice. Third on our initial checklist is water usage, which translates directly to your bottom line. Look for a specification called GPF, which stands for gallons per flush. Federal standards, set by the Energy Policy Act of 1992, mandate that new commercial toilets use no more than 1.6 gallons per flush. But you can do much better. High-efficiency toilets, or HETs, use 1.28 GPF or even less. Many dual-flush models offer a 1.1 GPF option for liquid waste and a 1.6 GPF for solid waste. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal about half a gallon of water? Let's do some quick math. Imagine you run a moderately busy coffee shop with 150 flushes per day. A standard 1.6 GPF toilet uses 240 gallons a day. A 1.28 GPF high-efficiency toilet uses only 192 gallons. That's a savings of 48 gallons a day. Over a year, that's over 17,000 gallons of water saved. Depending on your local water and sewer rates, that's hundreds of dollars per year per toilet, dropping straight back into your pocket. Look for the EPA's WaterSense label. This is a certification that guarantees the toilet is at least 20% more water efficient than the 1.6 GPF standard, without sacrificing performance. Choosing a WaterSense labeled toilet isn't just good for the environment. It's one of the smartest financial decisions you can make for your facility. So to recap our foundational checklist, first, identify your exact local plumbing code. Second, master the specific ADA requirements for your layout. And third, analyze your potential water usage and choose a high-efficiency model. These 3 steps, code, accessibility, and cost, are the non-negotiable pillars of a successful installation. Get these right and you've built a solid foundation. Get them wrong and you're building on quicksand. Now that we've established the rules of the game, the next critical step is choosing your player. How do you select the actual toilet itself? The options can be overwhelming. Floor-mounted or wall-mounted, a gravity tank or a pressure-assisted flushometer, porcelain or stainless steel. Each choice has massive implications for your budget, your maintenance costs, and the daily experience of your customers. And that is exactly what we will break down next. Let's start with the heart of the machine, the flush mechanism. This is where most business owners make their first, and often most costly mistake. They think, a toilet is a toilet. Wrong. A commercial toilet is a piece of high-performance equipment, and choosing the wrong engine for it can lead to daily disasters. First up is the gravity flush toilet. This is the one you almost certainly have in your home. It's simple, reliable technology. A tank sits above the bowl, holding a few gallons of water. When you flush, a flapper opens and gravity does all the work, pulling the water down into the bowl to create a siphon that clears the waste. The pros? They're relatively inexpensive to buy, the parts are available at any hardware store, and the flush is quiet. For a small office with a handful of employees, a high-quality gravity flush model might seem like a perfectly reasonable choice. But here's the killer downside for almost any other business: the refill time. After a flush, that tank has to slowly refill with water, a process that can take anywhere from 30 seconds to over a minute. Now, picture your busy restaurant during the Friday night dinner rush. There's a line for the restroom. Every time someone uses it, that stall is out of commission for a full minute while the tank slowly, audibly gurgles back to life. That line gets longer. Customers get frustrated. The perceived cleanliness and efficiency of your entire establishment takes a massive hit. Furthermore, gravity flush toilets simply don't have the raw power to handle the, let's call it, demanding usage of a public environment. They are far more prone to clogging, leading to the dreaded out-of-order sign, which is basically a neon sign flashing, "We can't handle our own business." This brings us to the commercial champion, the flushometer toilet. You've seen these everywhere: airports, stadiums, concert venues. There's no tank. Instead, a valve, the flushometer, is connected directly to the building's water supply line. When you push the handle, it unleashes a high-pressure, high-speed torrent of water that evacuates the bowl with incredible force and efficiency. The pros are game-changing for a business. The flush is brutally powerful, drastically reducing clogs. And the biggest advantage? There is no refill time. It's ready to go again instantly. This is the multi-lane superhighway of toilets, built for maximum throughput. They are also far more compact, with a smaller footprint that saves you valuable square footage in your restroom design. The cons? First, the cost. A flushometer system is significantly more expensive up front than a gravity-fed toilet. Second, the noise. That powerful flush comes with a signature whoosh that is much louder than a tank-style toilet. But the most critical consideration is the plumbing. Flushometer valves require a much higher water pressure and a larger supply pipe, typically a 1-inch diameter pipe, to function correctly. Most residential and many older, smaller commercial buildings are plumbed with 1/2-inch or 3/4-inch pipes. If you want to install a true flushometer system in a building that wasn't designed for it, you're not just swapping a toilet. You're talking about a potentially massive and expensive replumbing project, tearing open walls to run new, larger pipes. This is a non-negotiable prerequisite. You cannot simply attach a flushometer valve to an undersized pipe and expect it to work. It won't. So what if you're in an existing building with smaller pipes, but you need more power than a standard gravity toilet? Enter the hybrid hero, the pressure-assisted toilet. This clever design looks like a standard tank toilet on the outside, but inside that porcelain tank is a sealed plastic vessel. As the tank fills, the incoming water pressure compresses the air inside this vessel, essentially creating a pneumatic cannon. When you flush, this highly pressurized water is released into the bowl, creating a jet-powered flush that rivals the force of a flushometer. You get the power to prevent clogs and handle high traffic, but it works with standard smaller supply lines. It's the perfect retrofit solution. The downsides are that they are significantly louder than gravity toilets, sometimes startlingly so, and the internal components are more complex and expensive to replace than a simple $5 flapper. So, the choice is a direct function of your business. High-traffic new construction like a restaurant or retail store. A flushometer system is the only professional choice. The investment pays for itself in reduced maintenance and increased customer throughput. Retrofitting an older building for commercial use? A pressure-assisted model is your best bet for achieving that power without a massive plumbing overhaul. A very low-traffic private office? You might get away with a top-tier commercial-grade gravity model, but you're living on the edge. Now, once you've decided on your flushing engine, you have to choose the chassis. The material your toilet is made from is a decision between classic aesthetics and brute force survival. The overwhelming majority of toilets are made from vitreous china, which is essentially a specific type of porcelain with a super hard, high-gloss enamel glaze. It's the classic familiar material. Its pros are obvious. It has a clean, non-industrial look, it's available in countless styles, and it's generally the most cost-effective option up front. That durable glaze is also non-porous, making it easy to clean and sanitize, as long as the glaze remains intact. And that is the critical weakness of porcelain. It is fragile, can chip if something is dropped on it. It can develop hairline cracks from stress or temperature changes. And in a public-facing business, particularly one that serves alcohol or is in a rougher neighborhood, it can be shattered by a single act of vandalism. Every time you have to replace a cracked porcelain toilet, you're not just paying for the new unit and the plumber, you're losing a functioning stall for hours or even days. That cost adds up incredibly fast. On the other end of the spectrum is the indestructible Titan, stainless steel. Once relegated to prisons, parks, and highway rest stops, stainless steel fixtures are becoming more common in style-conscious, high-traffic venues like nightclubs, breweries, and modern restaurants. The advantage is simple. You cannot destroy it. It will not crack, chip, or shatter. It is the ultimate solution for any environment where vandalism or extreme heavy use is a concern. From a hygiene perspective, it's also fantastic. The non-porous surface is inherently sanitary and easy to sterilize. The drawbacks are primarily cost and aesthetics. Stainless steel fixtures are substantially more expensive than their porcelain counterparts. And while modern designs are far more sleek than the institutional models of the past, they still carry a colder, more industrial vibe that might not fit the decor of, say, a charming bed and breakfast. They also show water spots and fingerprints more readily, potentially requiring more frequent wiping down to look pristine. The decision here is a risk assessment. For a typical office, a high-end restaurant, or a retail boutique, a quality, commercial-grade porcelain toilet is the standard. It provides the right balance of durability, cost, and the aesthetic your customers expect. But if you own a bar, a concert venue, a 24-hour gym, or any business where the restrooms are unsupervised and subject to abuse, investing in stainless steel is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make. The higher upfront cost is an insurance policy against the inevitable cost of replacement, repairs, and downtime from damaged porcelain units. Choosing the flush system and the material are the foundational first steps. You're deciding between speed and quiet, between elegance and invincibility. But these choices are meaningless if the unit doesn't physically fit the space or meet the strict legal requirements for accessibility. You could have the most powerful, indestructible toilet in the world, but if you install it in the wrong place or at the wrong height, you're not just failing your customers, you're breaking the law. And the fines for that can shut you down for good. Next, we dive into the world of ADA compliance, rough-in dimensions, and how to avoid the single costliest mistake in any restroom build-out. The Americans with Disabilities Act isn't a suggestion. It's not a best practice guideline. It's a federal civil rights law. Think about that. The same level of legal gravity that protects against discrimination based on race or religion also applies to whether a person in a wheelchair can use your restroom. And the moment an inspector walks in with a tape measure, your entire investment hangs in the balance. They aren't looking to see if it looks good. They have a checklist and every single measurement is pass or fail. There is no partial credit. Let's start with the absolute basics of an ADA-compliant toilet stall, the numbers you have to burn into your brain before a single pipe is laid. The toilet itself must be positioned with its center line exactly 16 to 18 inches from the side wall or partition. Not 15, not 19, 16 to 18 inches. This is the sweet spot that allows for proper clearance and grab bar usage. Get this wrong and you fail instantly. Next, the space itself. A standard accessible stall must have a minimum clear width of 60 inches, and it needs to be at least 59 inches deep if the toilet is wall-mounted, or 56 inches deep if it's floor-mounted. This space isn't arbitrary. It's the calculated area needed for a wheelchair to maneuver. And inside that stall, you need a clear, unobstructed circle of at least 60 inches in diameter, or a T-shaped space, to allow for a full 360-degree turn. This turning circle can overlap with other fixtures, but it cannot be obstructed by them. Then come the grab bars. These are non-negotiable. You need a sidewall grab bar that is at least 42 inches long, positioned a maximum of 12 inches from the rear wall. And you need a rear grab bar that's at least 36 inches long. Both of these must be mounted at a precise height of 33 to 36 inches above the finished floor. If your contractor installs them at 32 inches because it was easier to hit a stud, you fail. If they install them at 37 inches, you fail. The law is absolute. Even the toilet height is mandated. The top of the toilet seat must be 17 to 19 inches from the finished floor. This height makes transferring from a wheelchair to the toilet safer and easier. Your standard residential toilet is often only 15 inches high. Installing one of those is an automatic failure, and a clear sign to an inspector that you didn't do your homework. Now you might be thinking, okay, those are a lot of numbers, but I'll just give them to my plumber and architect. It's their problem. And that right there is the single costliest mistake you can make. Because all of these finished dimensions, the 18-inch centerline, the 60-inch stall width, the 33-inch grab bar height, they all depend on something that happens long before the first tile is laid or the first wall is painted. They depend entirely on the rough-in. The rough-in is the skeleton of your plumbing system. It's the placement of the drain pipe in the floor, and the water supply line in the wall before anything is covered up. It is the most critical and most unforgiving stage of the entire installation. Because once concrete is poured over that drain pipe, or drywall is screwed over that supply line, moving it is not a minor adjustment. It's a demolition. Let's talk about the toilet drain, specifically the toilet rough-in dimension. This is the measurement from the finished back wall to the absolute center of the drain pipe in the floor. The industry standard for commercial toilets is typically 12 inches. You'll also see 10-inch and 14-inch rough-ins, but 12 is the most common. Here's the trap that snares thousands of business owners. That measurement is from the finished wall, not from the 2x4 studs. You have to account for the thickness of the drywall, the cement board, and the tile. If your wall assembly is 1 inch thick, and your plumber measures 12 inches from the raw stud, your actual rough-in is now only 11 inches. The standard 12-inch rough-in toilet you bought will not fit. It's physically impossible. And what happens then? Do you just go buy an 11-inch rough-in toilet? Good luck finding one. You'll likely need to special order a 10-inch model, which limits your choices dramatically and can look awkward with a large gap behind the tank. But the far more common and far more disastrous scenario is that the mistake isn't caught until after the floors are done. Now, to fix that 1-inch mistake, you have to bring in a jackhammer. You have to destroy your brand new concrete floor, tear up your beautiful new tile, cut the pipe, move it 1 inch, replumb it, pour new concrete, let it cure, and then try to patch the tile so it doesn't look like a botched repair job. A $500 plumbing job just ballooned into a $15,000 catastrophe, complete with weeks of delays, dust, and destruction, all because of 1 inch. This is where ADA compliance and the rough-in violently collide. Remember that ADA rule? The toilet center line must be 16 to 18 inches from the finished side wall. That means your plumber can't just slap the drain pipe in the middle of the stall. They have to measure from the finished side wall, find that 16 to 18 inch mark, and place the dead center of the drain pipe right there. Let's walk through the sequence of failure. An inexperienced plumber measures for the drain rough-in before the drywall is up on the sidewall. They measure 18 inches from the raw studs of the side partition. Then the drywall goes up. Then the tile. Suddenly, that 18-inch measurement has shrunk to 16.5 inches. You're still within the ADA tolerance, so you got lucky, right? Wrong. Because on the other side of the stall, the same thing happened. The 60-inch wide stall you framed is now only 58.5 inches wide after drywall and tile. You just failed your ADA width inspection. The entire stall has to be torn out and reframed. The rough-in is the point of no return. It's the foundation upon which every other measurement rests. If the foundation is cracked, the entire house is compromised. You must be obsessive about it. You need to know the exact model of the toilet you're installing before the rough-in begins, and you need to have its spec sheet, or specification sheet, in hand. This document is the toilet's Bible. It will tell you the exact rough-in dimension required. You hand this sheet to your plumber and you verify their measurements yourself. Measure from the studs, then add the calculated thickness of your finished walls. Measure twice, 3 times, 4 times, because concrete only gets poured once. So we've established the toilet's precise location in 3-dimensional space. We know its height off the floor, its distance from the back wall, and its distance from the side wall, all down to the fraction of an inch. We've poured the concrete and locked in our drain location forever. We have the skeleton. But a skeleton is useless without a circulatory system. We need to get water to the toilet. And the choice you make here between a standard tank toilet and a commercial flushometer valve will have a massive impact on your water bill, your maintenance costs, and whether your customers are faced with a constantly clogged or out-of-order restroom. That decision all comes down to 2 little numbers, PSI and GPM. And getting them wrong can be just as costly as misplacing a drain pipe. PSI is pounds per square inch. GPM is gallons per minute. Think of it like this. PSI is the force of the water. It's the punch. GPM is the volume of water. It's the flood that follows the punch. You can have a really fast, hard punch, but if it's just your pinky finger, it won't do much. You need both force and mass to get the job done. In plumbing, you need both pressure and volume. And here's the multi-$1,000 secret that separates a professional commercial restroom from a non-stop maintenance nightmare. Residential toilets and commercial toilets operate on completely different principles. Your toilet at home has a big tank on the back. When you flush, you're not using the pressure from your city water line. You're using gravity. The water stored in that tank, all 1.6 or 1.28 gallons of it, is dumped into the bowl all at once, creating a siphon effect that pulls the waste down. The tank then takes 30 to 60 seconds to slowly refill, using whatever water pressure your house happens to have. It's a slow, patient system. Commercial toilets, especially the tankless flushometer-style toilets you see everywhere, have no patience. They have no tank. They are direct fed from the building's water supply. When you push that handle, a valve opens and it demands an enormous amount of water right now. It needs that powerful blast of high-pressure, high-volume water to scour the bowl clean and force waste down the drain line in about 3 seconds flat. If your building's plumbing can't deliver that sudden, violent rush of water, the flush fails. It's a weak, swirling, pathetic excuse for a flush that leaves paper behind, doesn't clear the bowl, and sometimes doesn't even have enough force to push waste past the trap. The result? You're now the proud owner of a restroom with perpetually clogged toilets. Your customers have to flush 2, 3, 4 times. Your maintenance staff is spending half their day with a plunger in their hand. And that beautiful, clean, professional image you wanted for your business is literally going down the drain. All because nobody checked the two little numbers. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're opening a brand new upscale bistro. You've spent a fortune on the reclaimed wood, the Edison bulbs, the gleaming espresso machine. You pick out sleek, wall-mounted, high-efficiency toilets to match the modern aesthetic. The contractor installs them, hooks them up, and moves on. Grand opening night arrives. The place is packed. The toilets are being used back to back to back. By 9 p.m. you have a problem. The first toilet is clogged. Then the second. A foul odor starts to creep out of the restroom. You find out the flushes are just too weak. They can't handle the high traffic. Your brand new bistro, on its most important night, now has a reputation for having disgusting bathrooms. That's a stain that's hard to wash off. The plumber comes in the next day and delivers the bad news. The building is older, and the water supply line feeding the restroom is only a 3/4-inch pipe. It simply cannot deliver the volume of water, the GPM, that these high-efficiency flushometers demand. Your static water pressure, the PSI, might be fine, but when the valve opens, that pressure plummets because the pipe is too small to keep up with the demand. It's like trying to drink a thick milkshake through a tiny coffee stirrer. Now you have a catastrophic choice. Either you spend tens of thousands of dollars to shut down, rip open the brand new walls, and run a larger 1-inch or even 1.5-inch pipe all the way from the water main, or you have to abandon your sleek, wall-mounted toilets and install bulky, less professional-looking tank-style toilets that might not even be ADA compliant or meet your local health codes. It's a business-crippling mistake that could have been prevented with a 10-minute test. So let's talk numbers. What do you actually need? This is the critical piece of information you must have before you even look at a toilet catalog. First, pressure. Sigh. Most standard commercial flushometer valves require a minimum of 25 psi of flowing pressure to operate correctly. And that word, flowing, is key. Anyone can screw a simple pressure gauge onto a faucet and get what's called a static pressure reading. That's the pressure in the pipes when no water is moving. It might read 60, 70, even 80 psi. And you might think, great, I'm good to go. You're not. The second you open a valve and water starts moving, that pressure drops due to friction inside the pipes. The number that matters is the dynamic or flowing pressure, the pressure that's left while the water is rushing to the toilet. If that number dips below the manufacturer's minimum, which is often 25 or 35 psi for high-efficiency models, the valve won't snap shut correctly, the flush will be weak, and the toilet will fail. But here's the real killer. The number that trips up almost everyone: GPM, gallons per minute. You can have all the pressure in the world, but if the pipe is too small, you won't get the volume. It's the difference between getting hit with a water pistol and a fire hose. Both can have pressure, but only one has the volume to knock you off your feet. A commercial toilet needs the fire hose. To get a powerful siphoning flush from a standard 1.6 gallon per flush toilet, you need the plumbing to be able to deliver about 25 to 30 gallons per minute. Even the new water-saving 1.28 GPF toilets still need a flow rate of around 25 GPM to function reliably in a commercial setting. Think about that. Your shower at home uses about 2.5 GPM. Your kitchen sink maybe 2 GPM. A commercial toilet is demanding 10 times that amount instantly. If your supply pipe is too small, too long, or has too many turns, it simply cannot deliver that volume of water, no matter how high your static pressure is. So, how do you avoid the bistro owner's nightmare? You test. You verify. You never ever guess. Here's your checklist item. Before any final plumbing decisions are made, you or your licensed plumber must perform a dynamic water pressure and flow test at the point of installation. This isn't optional. It's mandatory. A professional plumber will have a specialized gauge that can measure both the pressure and the volume of water flowing at the same time. They will simulate the demand of a flush and tell you your true functional numbers. How many psi of flowing pressure do you have? And what is your maximum GPM? Once you have those two magic numbers, your job becomes simple. Every single commercial toilet and flushometer valve has a technical specification sheet, or a spec sheet. You can find it on the manufacturer's website. On that sheet, it will clearly state the minimum flowing pressure required and the minimum flow rate required. Your building's tested numbers must be greater than the numbers on that spec sheet. If the toilet needs 25 GPM and your pipe can only deliver 20, you cannot use that toilet. That black and white. Don't let a sales rep or a contractor tell you, it'll probably be fine. probably fine is how you end up with an out-of-order sign on day one. If your numbers are too low, you have a few options. None of them are great, which is why testing first is so important. You could install a water pressure booster pump. This will increase your PSI, but remember, it can't work miracles. A booster pump cannot magically create more volume if your pipes are too narrow. It just puts more strain on an undersized system. The only real fix for low GPM is to increase the pipe size. That means running a new, larger supply line. It's expensive and invasive, but it's the only way to guarantee performance. Your last resort might be to switch to a specialized pressure-assisted tank-style toilet. These use the incoming water pressure to compress air inside a sealed tank, which then releases with a loud whoosh for a powerful flush. They work well in low-pressure situations, but they're noisy, have more complex internal parts to maintain, and often lack the durable, industrial feel of a true flushometer system. Getting the water supply right, verifying your PSI and GPM before you buy, is the foundation of a reliable restroom. It dictates every fixture choice you'll make. It determines whether your restroom is an asset to your business or a constant, costly liability. Now, once you've confirmed that you have the water coming in with enough force and volume, you have to deal with how it's all held up. For wall-mounted toilets, this involves a heavy-duty steel frame hidden behind the tile. It's called the carrier, and it's what literally supports the toilet and the person using it off the floor. And the single most catastrophic installation mistake, one that can lead to leaks, failures, and even the entire toilet ripping out of the wall, happens right here. It's a small detail with devastating consequences, and we're going to break down exactly what it is and how to avoid it next. That catastrophic mistake is all about the carrier studs. The two threaded rods that stick out from the wall, the very foundation upon which hundreds of pounds of porcelain, water, and human weight will hang, day in and day out, for years. The failure isn't just one thing. It's a trifecta of seemingly small oversights that combine to create a ticking time bomb. It's about using the wrong hardware, setting the wrong length, and failing to secure them with the right technique. Let's talk physics for just a second. When someone sits on a wall-hung toilet, they're not just applying downward force. They're creating what's called a moment arm, a lever. The further the bowl sticks out from the wall, the more it multiplies that force, trying to pry the toilet away from the carrier. Every single use, every shift in weight, is a tiny tug-of-war on those two little studs. Now, multiply that by hundreds of uses a day in a busy commercial restroom. We're talking about tens of thousands of cycles of stress every single month. This isn't like a toilet in your home. This is industrial-level abuse. The number one error is simply not getting enough thread engagement when the bowl is mounted. The installer, maybe in a rush, leaves the studs too short. They manage to get the nut on, maybe it grabs 3 or 4 threads, and they call it good. But those few threads are all that's holding back a potential disaster. Over time, the constant vibration and stress will slowly strip those threads away, microscopically at first, until one day the connection fails. The nut pops off, the other stud is instantly overloaded, and it shears off. The entire fixture, full of water, crashes to the floor. Imagine the liability, the water damage, the cost of repair, and the potential for serious injury. It's a nightmare scenario that originates from a 1/4 inch of missing thread. So here's the checklist item, the non-negotiable rule: setting the carrier studs. First, you need to know the final wall thickness. This is why we planned everything back in part 3. You need to account for the drywall, the tile, and the thin-set mortar. Let's say you have 1/2 inch drywall and a 1/2 inch of tile and mortar. That's 1 full inch of wall finish. You must project the studs out from the finished face of that wall. How far? Your toilet's installation manual is your Bible here. It will specify the required stud projection. But a solid rule of thumb is to have enough length to pass completely through the mounting hole on the toilet bowl, accommodate the thick plastic or metal washer, and allow the nut to be fully threaded on, with at least 2 or 3 threads showing past the tightened nut. This visual confirmation is your proof of a secure connection. Too short and you risk thread stripping. Too long and the plastic bolt caps won't fit, looking unprofessional and creating a cleaning nuisance. You set this length from behind the wall, before the drywall goes up. The studs are threaded into the carrier itself. You'll use 2 nuts tightened against each other on the stud, a jam nut technique, to lock it into the carrier frame at the correct depth. Then you slide a protective plastic sleeve over the stud. This is crucial. It protects the threads from drywall mud and thin set during construction, and ensures the stud can be adjusted slightly later if needed. Don't ever skip the sleeves. Now let's talk about the hardware that actually holds the bowl on. This is the second part of that catastrophic failure trifecta. The carrier kit comes with specific, high-strength, often case-hardened steel nuts and washers. Do not lose them. Do not substitute them. I've seen installers drop a washer, not have a spare, and just grab a generic zinc washer from their truck. That is a recipe for failure. The supplied washer is designed to distribute the clamping force evenly across the porcelain without cracking it. A smaller, weaker washer will concentrate the force, potentially fracturing the bowl when you tighten it. Or worse, it will deform and collapse over time, causing the nut to lose its torque and loosen, starting a catastrophic chain reaction. Use only the original equipment manufacturer or OEM hardware. No exceptions. And now, for the pro-level technique that separates the masters from the apprentices. The secret that ensures those nuts will never ever back off on their own. It's called the double nut or jam nut method, and it's the same principle used to secure critical components on race cars and aircraft. Once you've hung the bowl and are ready to secure it, you'll first put on the special washer. Then you thread on the first nut and tighten it to the manufacturer's specified torque. This is important. Don't just crank on it with all your might. Porcelain can crack. Use a torque wrench. Get it snug and secure according to the spec sheet. Now most installers stop here. This is the mistake. You are going to take a second nut, a jam nut, and thread it on right behind the first one. You'll tighten this second nut against the first one. You hold the first nut stationary with one wrench, and you tighten the second nut firmly against it with another wrench. What this does is create an incredible amount of tension and friction between the threads of the two nuts and the stud itself. It mechanically locks them in place. Vibration, stress, and load cycles can't work it loose. It is the single best insurance policy against a wall-hung toilet ever coming loose from its mounting. It takes an extra 60 seconds per stud, and it is worth every single one of them. So, to recap the anti-catastrophe checklist for the carrier studs. 1. Calculate your finished wall thickness and project the studs to the manufacturer's specified length, ensuring enough thread for the washer, the nut, and 2 or 3 extra threads to show. 2. Use the protective plastic sleeves to keep the threads clean during construction. 3. Use only the high-strength OEM washers and nuts that came with the carrier. No substitutions. 4. Secure the bowl using the double nut, jam nut technique to ensure it never loosens. With the carrier perfectly installed and the studs set like a bedrock foundation, our attention now shifts from the wall to the fixture itself. We have to prep the toilet bowl before we can even think about lifting it into place. This involves 3 critical components: the spud, the vacuum breaker, and the seal. The spud is the brass or plastic fitting that connects the flush valve pipe to the top of the toilet. The vacuum breaker is a vital safety device that prevents contaminated water from being siphoned back into the clean water supply. But the third component, that's the one that causes the silent, insidious failures. The ones you don't see until a brown stain appears on the ceiling of the floor below. It's the gasket that seals the connection between the back of the toilet and the waste pipe in the wall. Traditionally, this is a wax ring, but there are modern wax-free options as well. This seal is everything. Getting it wrong doesn't result in a dramatic crash. It results in a slow, persistent, and hidden leak. A drip, drip, drip of wastewater inside your wall cavity every single time the toilet is flushed. It can go unnoticed for months, silently rotting your studs, destroying your subfloor, and creating a black mold nightmare. Choosing the right gasket and installing it perfectly is not just plumbing. It's protecting the very structure of your building. There's an art and a science to it, and one common, almost universal mistake that guarantees a failed seal from day one. And that's what we're tackling next. That mistake is treating the most critical seal in the entire bathroom as if it has a second chance. Doesn't. Setting a toilet is a one-shot deal. You get one attempt to create a perfect, watertight and gas-tight seal between the fixture and the drainage system. Get it wrong and you're not just looking at a leak. You're looking at sewer gas infiltration, subfloor rot, and a complete do-over. The culprit is almost always a misunderstanding of how a simple, brilliant piece of technology works: the wax ring. Before we even touch that ring of wax, we have to talk about its foundation, the toilet flange, also called a closet flange. This is the plastic or cast iron fitting that the toilet bolts to. Your first checkpoint is its height. The bottom face of the flange should sit directly on top of the finished floor. Not below it, not a half-inch above it. If your flooring contractor came in and laid thick tile, and now your flange is recessed a half-inch below the floor surface, you have a problem. You cannot just use a thicker wax ring and hope for the best. That's like using a really thick gasket to fix a warped engine head. It's a temporary patch on a fundamental flaw. For a recessed flange, you must use flange extenders or spacers to build it up so it sits on the floor. Conversely, if the flange is sitting too high, the toilet will rock on it, never sit flush with the floor, and will eventually crack or break the flange itself. It has to be perfect. On the floor. Once the flange height is confirmed, grab your level. Check it in 2 directions. Is it level? If it's tilted, the toilet will be tilted. This isn't just an aesthetic issue. It affects the flush dynamics and puts uneven pressure on the wax seal. Fix it now before the toilet is anywhere near it. Now for the main event, the ring itself. In a commercial setting, don't cheap out. You'll see standard wax rings and extra thick ones, some with a polyurethane horn in the middle. For most standard on-the-floor flange installations, a high-quality extra thick ring is your best bet. It provides more material to fill any small imperfections and ensures a robust seal. The new wax-free seals are also an excellent option. They're made of a durable rubber-like material. Their biggest advantage is that they are not a one-shot deal. You can reposition the toilet if you need to. However, many seasoned plumbers still trust the time-tested, positive squish conformation of a traditional wax ring. For this guide, we'll focus on the wax because the most common mistake happens right here. Here's the universal seal-killing error, the double set. The installer places the wax ring on the flange or the bottom of the toilet. They carefully line up the closet bolts with the holes in the toilet base. They lower the heavy, awkward porcelain fixture down. It makes contact. They press down, and then they realize it's slightly crooked. So they lift it, even just a quarter of an inch. They lift it, shift it, and set it back down. It looks perfect now, but what they've just done is guarantee a future failure. When you press that toilet down the first time, the wax deforms. It squishes and perfectly molds itself into the unique shape of the toilet's outlet and the flange's surface, filling every microscopic gap. It creates a perfect custom gasket. The moment you lift the toilet, you break that custom seal. Air voids are introduced. The wax is now misshapen. When you set it back down, it will never ever reshape itself into that same perfect seal. It's like trying to reuse a stamp after you've already pressed it onto an ink pad and then paper. The impression is ruined. You get one press. 1. If you have to lift the toilet for any reason after the wax has made contact, you must remove the old wax ring completely, scrape off all the residue, and start over with a brand new one. No exceptions. This is the single most important rule of setting a toilet. So how do you do it right? First, make sure your closet bolts are upright in the flange slots, secured with the little plastic retaining washers so they don't fall over. It's incredibly frustrating to lower a toilet perfectly only to find one of the bolts is now lying flat under the base. Once the bolts are set, place the wax ring. I prefer placing it directly on the flange, centered perfectly over the opening. Now get a partner if the toilet is heavy. Look directly down over the toilet, aligning the holes in the base with the bolts below. Don't look from the side. Get a bird's eye view. Lower it straight down. No sliding, no wiggling side to side yet. Once it's down and the base is resting on the bolts, commit. Use your body weight and press down firmly and evenly. You'll feel a slight satisfying squish as the wax compresses and creates that perfect one-time seal. Now it's secure, but it's not stable. We need to address the bolts. On the closet bolt sticking through the base, you'll first place a plastic or metal washer, then the nut. Hand tighten both sides first. Now grab a small wrench. The mistake here is to just crank down on one side until it's tight, then do the other. This puts all the pressure on one side of the porcelain base, which is an incredibly easy way to hear a sickening crack and watch a hairline fracture spread across your brand new, several $100 fixture. The correct method is the same as tightening the lug nuts on a car wheel. You alternate. Give the right nut a half turn, then the left nut a half turn, then back to the right, then the left. You are slowly and evenly increasing the pressure across the entire base, pulling the toilet down perfectly straight. And how tight is tight enough? The goal is snug. You are not trying to weld it to the floor. You are simply compressing the wax and preventing the toilet from moving. The moment you feel significant resistance, stop. Over-tightening is the #1 killer of toilet bases. If the toilet can't be rocked back and forth by hand at all, you're done. Don't give it that one extra crank for good measure. That's the one that will cost you. With the toilet bolted down, we move to the next commonly skipped step, leveling and shimming. No commercial floor is perfectly flat. Place your level across the bowl side to side, then place it front to back. Is it perfectly level? Probably not. You'll see a slight tilt. Now try to rock the toilet with your hands. If there is any movement, any clicking or tapping sound, it needs shims. A rocking toilet is an absolute deal breaker. Every time someone sits on it, that rocking motion will flex the plumbing connection and, more importantly, slowly work away at the wax seal until it breaks. Use proper plastic toilet shims for this. They are designed to be scored and snapped, and they won't rot or compress over time like a piece of cardboard or a wood scrap might. Find the gap and slide a shim in. Slide in another on the other side if needed. Keep checking with your level and pushing on the toilet until it is perfectly level and absolutely rock solid. There should be zero movement. Once you're satisfied, take a utility knife and score the shims right at the edge of the toilet base. Then snap off the excess for a clean, invisible finish. Finally, we connect the water. The supply line from the shutoff valve on the wall to the fill valve on the toilet tank is another critical point. For a commercial job, only use a braided stainless steel supply line. Never use the cheap, solid plastic or vinyl tubes. They become brittle over time and are notorious for bursting, causing catastrophic floods. Get a line that is the correct length. Too short and it will be stretched and stressed. Too long and you'll have a big, ugly loop behind the toilet that can get kinked and restrict water flow. When connecting it, the rule is simple. Hand tight, plus a quarter turn with a wrench. The fittings on both the shutoff valve and the toilet's fill valve have rubber gaskets inside that create the seal. All you need to do is gently compress that gasket. If you crank down on it with a big wrench, you will crush and deform the gasket, which ironically is what causes it to leak. So screw it on by hand until it stops. Then take your wrench and give it one final gentle quarter turn. That's it. Finesse over force. The toilet is now physically installed. It's bolted, it's level, it's connected. It looks like a finished job. But right now it's an untested machine. The most critical moments are still ahead. Turning on the water isn't a simple flip of a switch. It's a careful, deliberate process of commissioning, where we hunt for the tiniest, most insidious leaks. Because the leak that floods the bathroom in 5 minutes is obvious. It's the one that drips one drop every 10 minutes inside a wall, or under a floor that silently causes thousands in rot, mold, and structural damage. And there's a professional sequence to testing that separates the amateurs from the pros, ensuring that when you walk away, this installation is truly bulletproof. That's where we're going next. The first step in this bulletproofing process is something 90% of installers skip, and it happens before a single drop of water is introduced. It's the dry set confirmation. You've got your new wax ring on the flange, but before you permanently set that heavy porcelain bowl, you're going to place it down gently without the bolts and feel the fit. Does it sit level? Does it rock? If there's any wobble now, a wax ring and some bolts aren't a magic fix. They're a ticking time bomb. This is your last chance to address an uneven floor or a flange that's too high or too low, without smearing wax everywhere and compromising your seal. You're checking the alignment with the wall, ensuring you have the proper rough-in distance we talked about earlier. You're visualizing the final placement. Once you feel that solid, level contact, lift the bowl straight up, set it aside, and now you're ready to install the closet bolts and set it for real. This 5-minute dry run prevents a 4-hour nightmare. With the bowl securely bolted down, alternating sides as you tighten, remember, the moment of truth begins. But we don't start with a flush. We start with a fill. Turn the water on at the shutoff valve, but only a quarter turn. You want the tank to fill slowly, deliberately. And as it fills, your eyes and ears should be on high alert. You're listening for the hiss of the fill valve, yes, but you're also listening for the faintest unnatural trickle. Your eyes are scanning every connection point. Start at the top, where the supply line connects to the fill valve assembly at the bottom of the tank. Is there a bead of water forming? Then trace that supply line down to the shutoff valve. Is the compression fitting perfectly dry? Use a flashlight even in a well-lit room. Water is a master of camouflage. Run a dry paper towel around each of these joints. It will betray the tiniest leak that your eyes might miss. Only when the tank is completely full and has sat silently for a full 5 minutes, with every connection bone dry, do you proceed. Now the first flush. This isn't just about seeing if it works. It's a diagnostic event. Press the handle and stay there, kneeling on your pad. Your senses are your tools. First listen. You hear the initial powerful whoosh of the flush, but what you're really listening for is the sound of the bowl refilling from the tank and the trap re-establishing its water seal. It should be a clean, gurgling sound that settles quickly. Any prolonged sucking or bubbling noises can indicate a potential venting issue in the drain line. A problem far bigger than this single toilet. Next look. As that large volume of water surges from the bowl into the drain, your eyes are glued to the base. This is the moment of maximum pressure on your wax seal. If there's a weakness, a channel, a slight imperfection in how you set it, this is when it's most likely to reveal itself. Watch for even the slightest seep of water oozing out from under the porcelain. And finally, feel. Place your hand on the floor around the base. Sometimes you can feel the subtle coolness of a leak before you can see it. One flush. Listen, look, feel. But one flush is for homeowners. In a commercial setting, you're stress testing for a battlefield. We're going to simulate the morning rush, the lunch break, the end of the day stampede. You are going to flush that toilet 5 times in rapid succession. Flush. As soon as the flapper closes and the tank begins to fill, flush it again. And again. And again. Why? Because you're testing for 2 things. First, you're putting the wax ring under repeated violent pressure surges trying to force a failure. If the seal is going to give, you want it to give now, while you're here, not 6 months from now under a frantic employee's feet. Second, you're testing the drain and vent system's ability to keep up. Can it handle this volume? Does the bowl still clear completely on the 5th flush? Or is it getting sluggish? Does water start backing up or gurgling in a nearby sink or floor drain? You are actively trying to break your own installation to prove its strength. This is how you build a reputation for bomb-proof work. If it survives the 5-flush rapid-fire test without a single drop of water at the base or any sign of slow draining, you can have confidence. But we're not done. The most insidious leaks aren't the gushers. They're the ghosts. The slow, silent drips that only appear over hours, seeping into the subfloor 1 drop at a time, creating a black mold catastrophe behind the walls. We need to test for this. The best way? The paper towel dam. Take a few lengths of paper towel and lay them down, tucked tightly against the entire perimeter of the toilet base. Now you wait. In a perfect world, you'd let this sit overnight. If you're on a multi-day job, this is the perfect test to run at the end of day 1. But if you don't have that luxury, you need to give it at least 1 solid hour undisturbed. Go work on another task. Go to lunch. Let the toilet sit with a full bowl and tank under constant static pressure. When you come back, that paper towel is your report card. Inspect every inch of it. Is it perfectly dry? Or is there a spot of dampness, a telltale sign that water, under the simple force of gravity, is finding an escape route? This single, patient step is what separates the true professional from the handyman in a hurry. It's the test that catches the leaks that cause $10,000 repairs. After your sustained pressure test is complete and the paper towel dam comes back clean, there's one final physical check. The post-flood wiggle test. Now that the wax ring has been compressed, subjected to multiple flushes, and has had time to settle with the full weight of the water-filled toilet, you're going to check the bolts one last time. Place your hands on either side of the bowl and try to rock it side to side, then front to back. There should be 0 movement. Absolutely none. If you feel a slight click or shift, the closet bolts may need another quarter turn. Be careful not to over-tighten and crack the porcelain, but they must be snug enough to hold the unit perfectly rigid. A rocking toilet is the #1 enemy of a wax seal. Every time someone sits down, that movement grinds away at the wax, eventually breaking the seal and creating a leak. The bolts you tightened earlier were for the initial set. This final check ensures it's locked in for the long haul. Finally, do one last visual sweep of the entire installation. Your work area should be clean. The tank lid should be sitting squarely on the tank. The toilet seat should be properly aligned and its bolts tightened. Check the supply line again. Make sure the chrome is wiped down and free of fingerprints. This isn't just about function, it's about presentation. You are delivering a finished product. Should look as good as it works. This meticulous, multi-stage testing protocol, from the dry set to the paper towel dam to the final wiggle test, is your professional insurance policy. It's what allows you to pack up your tools, hand the client the invoice, and walk away with the absolute certainty that you won't be getting an angry callback. The toilet is now mechanically perfect. But the job itself, the thing that makes you a sought-after professional, is far from over. Because now comes the cleanup, the client education, and the final handover. This is where you transform a great installation into an exceptional customer experience. And it's a step that almost everyone gets wrong. They get it wrong because they think the job ends when the last bolt is tightened. They think their value is purely in the technical execution, the perfectly level bowl, the leak-free seal. And while that's the foundation, it's not the skyscraper. The real lasting impression, the thing that gets you 5-star reviews and word-of-mouth referrals that print money, has almost nothing to do with the toilet itself. It has everything to do with what happens in the 30 minutes after the tools are put away. Think of it like this. A world-class surgeon could perform a flawless, life-saving operation. But if they leave the operating room a mess, fail to explain the recovery process to the patient, and just walk out, what's the lasting feeling? It's one of confusion, anxiety, and a sense of being abandoned. The technical success is completely overshadowed by the failure of the human experience. Commercial plumbing is no different. The installation is the surgery. The cleanup and handover? That's the bedside manner that defines your entire reputation. Let's start with the cleanup, because it's the most visible and most symbolic act you can perform. Most contractors do what I call a broom clean. They sweep up the big chunks of drywall, dust, and cardboard, toss it in a trash bag, and call it a day. The client walks into a restroom that's technically clean, but it feels like a construction zone. There's a fine layer of dust on the mirror, a scuff mark on the wall where a ladder leaned, a stray fingerprint on the new chrome flush handle. It screams, "A worker was here." That's not the goal. The goal is what I call a forensic clean. The objective isn't to leave the restroom as you found it. It's to leave it better than you found it. Your work should feel like it materialized out of thin air, a pristine upgrade that appeared by magic. This means you don't just sweep. You bring a shop vac and you vacuum every speck of dust from the floor, the baseboards, and even the air vents. You bring a dedicated set of cleaning supplies, not the greasy rag from the bottom of your toolbox. You use a glass cleaner on the mirror. You use a multi-surface cleaner to wipe down the stall walls, the sink countertop, the soap dispenser. You wipe your own fingerprints off every single surface you touched. The door handle, the stall latch, and especially the new fixture. You polish the chrome until it gleams. You are a ghost. The only evidence you were ever there is the magnificent new toilet. This level of meticulousness sends a powerful subconscious message to your client. It says, if I am this careful about a little dust, imagine how careful I was with the things you can't see, like the wax ring seal and the water supply connection. It builds instantaneous, retroactive trust in the quality of your entire installation. It frames you not as a plumber, but as a craftsman, an artist who respects their canvas. This isn't about cleaning. It's about communicating excellence. Once the stage is spotlessly set, you move to the second, and arguably most critical phase, the client education. This is not a suggestion. It is a non-negotiable part of a professional handover. Never ever. Just pack up and leave a note that says, all done. You must find the client, the facility manager, or the designated point of contact and give them the official tour. This isn't a 10-second, here it is. This is a 5-minute empowerment session. You start with the basics. You look them in the eye and say, let me walk you through your new investment. You demonstrate the flush. If it's a dual flush model, you explain the difference between the two buttons or handle motions. You explain the water savings, reminding them of the long-term value they're getting. If it's a hands-free sensor flush, you demonstrate the sensor range. You show them where the manual override button is, because the day the batteries die, and you will be a hero for having shown them that button. Then, you do the single most important thing in the entire handover. You show them the water shutoff valve for that specific toilet. You have them physically touch it. You explain which way to turn it to shut the water off in an emergency. This 5-second act can save them thousands of dollars in water damage one day. It transforms you from the person who installed the toilet to the person who protected their entire property. The value of that is immeasurable. Next, you discuss care and maintenance. This is where you prevent future service calls and protect the fixture. You hand them the manufacturer's manual and you point out the cleaning section. You say things like, this bowl has a special evergreen coating to prevent buildup, so you never want to use abrasive cleaners or harsh bleach on it. Stick to a simple, non-abrasive bowl cleaner. You tell them what not to do. Never use one of those drop-in bleach tablets in the tank. They're notorious for eating away at the rubber seals and will void your warranty. By telling them what to avoid, you're positioning yourself as a trusted advisor, not just an installer. You're looking out for their best interests. Finally, you set expectations. You explain what's normal. You might hear a slight hiss for a few seconds after it flushes as the tank on this high-efficiency model refills. That's completely normal. This prevents them from calling you in a panic a week later. You also tell them what's not normal. If you ever hear it running continuously for more than a minute, or if you see any water pooling at the base, give me a call immediately. Here's my card. This entire educational tour accomplishes 3 things. First, it ensures the client knows how to operate and care for their new equipment, maximizing its lifespan and performance. Second, it drastically reduces unnecessary callbacks for non-issues, saving you time and money. And third, it establishes a level of trust and authority that is simply impossible to achieve otherwise. You've empowered them, and people are loyal to those who empower them. Now for the final piece of the puzzle, the handover. This is the official transfer of ownership. You've done the forensic clean. You've conducted the empowerment session. Now you cap it all off with the white glove experience. You present them with a folder or a large Ziploc bag. Inside is the user manual, the warranty card, already filled out with the installation date, and any special tools that came with the toilet like a seat tightening wrench. And then you add one more thing, a small care package. It could be as simple as a single microfiber cloth and a small sample-sized bottle of the specific cleaner you recommended. It's a tiny gesture that costs maybe $2, but the impact is astronomical. It's a tangible representation of your advice. It shows you don't just talk the talk, you provide the tools for success. You also, of course, have your business card in there. You do one last walkthrough with the client. You ask them to flush the toilet. You ask if they have any final questions. When they say no, you shake their hand, thank them for their business, and present them with a clear, itemized invoice. There are no surprises, no hidden fees. Just a professional document for a professional service. When you walk out that door, you haven't just installed a toilet. You've delivered a comprehensive service experience. You've left the space immaculate. You've educated and empowered the client. You've provided them with all the necessary documentation and tools. You have eliminated every possible ounce of friction, confusion, or doubt. The client isn't just satisfied. They are impressed. They are delighted. And a delighted client doesn't just pay their bill. They become your unpaid marketing department, telling every other business owner they know about the incredible professional who didn't just install a toilet, but who redefined what service even means. This is the system that separates the six-figure contractor from the seven-figure business owner. It's the final crucial step that turns a completed job into a cornerstone of your reputation. But even with a perfect handover, your responsibility isn't quite finished. There's one last, often overlooked phase that ensures long-term success and locks in repeat business for years to come. And that is the follow-up. The follow-up. It sounds so simple, almost like an afterthought. A quick call, maybe an email. But in the world of commercial contracting, this is where the amateurs drop the ball and the professionals build empires. Most contractors get the final check, pack up their tools, and vanish. They operate on a no news is good news policy. But this is a catastrophic mistake. Because silence from a client doesn't always mean satisfaction. It often means they're too busy to complain, or they found a small issue they're just living with, quietly letting their resentment build until it costs you a future job or a referral. The professional, the world-class operator, understands that the 24 hours after you leave the job site are more important for your reputation than the 24 hours you spent on it. This is where you transform a transaction into a relationship. We're going to break this down into a simple, powerful three-stage system. The 24-hour assurance, the 7-day performance review, and the 30-day partnership. Let's start with the 24-hour assurance. This is non-negotiable. Within one business day of project completion, you or your project manager needs to make contact. And this isn't a sales call. It's a confidence call. The goal here is simple: to proactively hunt for any immediate, glaring issues and to reinforce the client's decision to hire you. Think about it from their perspective. They just spent a significant amount of money. The new restrooms look great, but there's a nagging fear in the back of their mind. What if something goes wrong? What if a pipe bursts tonight? Your 24-hour call silences that fear. The script is simple. You call the facility manager and say something like, "Hey John, just calling to check in on the new restroom installation. I know the first day is when any major issues would pop up. How did everything perform? Any signs of leaks, any unusual noises, any problems at all?" You are actively inviting them to find a problem. This is psychologically powerful. It shows you're not scared of your own work. You're so confident in the quality of the installation that you're the one searching for flaws. 99% of the time, the answer will be, "Everything's great, thanks for checking in." And right there, you've just cemented your status as a top-tier professional. They will hang up that phone feeling cared for and secure. In that rare 1% chance they say, "You know, it's funny you called, the toilet in the third stall seems to be running a little long after a flush." You don't panic. You celebrate. You just intercepted a future angry phone call. You turned a potential complaint into an opportunity to demonstrate your incredible customer service. Your response is immediate. Thank you for telling me. That's exactly why I called. I'll have a tech there this afternoon to adjust the fill valve. It'll take 5 minutes. Boom. Problem solved. You're not a contractor who makes mistakes. You're a partner who provides solutions. Next up is the 7-day performance review. This is a different kind of call. The 24-hour call was about catastrophic failure. The 7-day call is about user experience and subtle performance quirks. After a week of use, the client staff, their customers, they've all had a chance to interact with your work. This is when the small annoyances surface. The flush handle that feels a little stiff. The sensor that's a little too sensitive. The toilet seat that came loose. These are the kinds of things that a busy facility manager might not bother to call you about. They'll just add it to a long list of building maintenance tasks. But each one of those tiny issues is a little crack in the foundation of their satisfaction. Your 7-day call is designed to patch those cracks before they widen. This call is more in-depth. Hey John, following up again on the restroom project we completed last week. Now that your team has had a full week to use the facilities, I wanted to see if there are any small adjustments we can make. Has there been any feedback from the staff? Are the flush pressures good across the board? Is everything operating exactly as you'd hoped? You're asking specific, performance-related questions. You're showing that you care not just about the installation but about the function. This is also your chance to gather valuable data. Maybe they mention that the water-saving dual-flush toilets are a huge hit, and they're already seeing a difference. That's a testimonial you can use. Maybe they mention a minor issue that you can fix in 10 minutes. Again, you've just demonstrated incredible value and attention to detail. This second touchpoint communicates that your service doesn't end when the check clears. It reinforces that you are a long-term partner in the success of their facility. Finally, we have the 30-day partnership. This is the masterstroke. By this point, the toilets are just a part of the building. The client isn't thinking about them anymore, which is exactly what you want. This 30-day follow-up isn't about the toilets at all. It's about the relationship in the future. This can be an email or a call, and it's geared towards solidifying your role as their go-to plumbing expert. You might say, "Hi John, it's been about a month since we finished the restroom upgrade, and I hope everything is continuing to run perfectly. I was thinking about your facility and wanted to pass along a preventative maintenance checklist for your team to help maximize the life of the new fixtures. Also, if you've been happy with our work, we'd be incredibly grateful if you'd consider leaving us a review on Google." Here's a direct link to make it easy. What have you just done? First, you've provided value for free. That maintenance checklist is a helpful resource that costs you nothing but positions you as an expert. Second, you've asked for the review at the perfect time, long after the installation, when their satisfaction is at its peak and they feel a sense of reciprocity because you've been so attentive. But here's the pro move. You end that conversation by planting the seed for future work. By the way, we also offer quarterly and annual maintenance plans that handle all of this for you. From checking for silent leaks to descaling fixtures. It's a great way to protect your investment and prevent surprise repairs down the road. No pressure at all, but I'll send over some info for you to look at when you have a moment. You've just flawlessly transitioned from a one-time installer to a potential long-term service provider. You've used the follow-up process to not only guarantee customer satisfaction on the current job, but to build a pipeline for future, recurring revenue. This 3-stage system, the 24-hour assurance, the 7-day performance review, and the 30-day partnership, is your secret weapon. It systematically eliminates post-project anxiety, catches minor issues before they become major complaints, and builds the kind of rock-solid client relationships that generate glowing reviews, enthusiastic referrals, and lucrative, long-term contracts. It's the single biggest differentiator between a contractor who completes a job and a business partner who builds an empire. But even this powerful follow-up system is just a launchpad. The real secret to dominating your market isn't just getting repeat business. It's creating a system of predictable, recurring revenue that makes your business virtually bulletproof. And that's exactly what we're breaking down next. We've spent this entire series building the perfect machine, your process for a flawless commercial toilet installation. But a perfect machine that only runs once is a novelty. A perfect machine that runs every single day, generating predictable results, is an empire. This is the shift from being a technician who gets paid for a job to a business owner who gets paid for a system. The vast majority of contractors live in a state of what I call revenue anxiety. They kill it on a big commercial install, the bank account looks great, and for a week they feel like kings. But then a nagging voice starts in the back of their head. What's next? They're back to square one, hunting for the next big project, riding a roller coaster of feast and famine. 1 month you're hiring, the next you're hoping you can make payroll. That is not a business. That's a high-stakes gamble. The bulletproof business isn't built on one-off grand slams. It's built on a foundation of small, automatic, recurring wins. It's built on subscription. Think about it. Netflix, Amazon Prime, your gym membership, your software tools. The most valuable companies in the world aren't built on single transactions. They're built on recurring relationships. Why should your trade business be any different? The key is to stop seeing the installation as the finish line. The installation is the audition. It's your chance to so profoundly impress a client with your professionalism, your communication, and your execution that they would be crazy to ever call anyone else. Once you've earned that trust, you don't just leave a bill and a business card. You present them with an offer to protect their new investment. You don't call it a maintenance plan. That sounds boring and cheap. You call it a facility wellness program or a commercial care partnership. You frame it not as a cost but as an insurance policy against disaster. After the final walkthrough, when the client is thrilled with their new sparkling restrooms, you sit them down. You say, John, you've just made a significant investment to upgrade this facility. Our job isn't just to install it. Our job is to ensure you get the maximum return on that investment for the next 10 to 15 years. The biggest threats to that return are unexpected downtime, emergency repair costs, and premature failure. You're no longer a plumber. You are a risk management consultant. Then, you present them with your tiered facility wellness program. And you need to have this printed out, looking professional with your logo on it. This isn't a casual conversation. It's a business proposal. Let's break down what goes into this offer. You create 3 tiers: bronze, silver, and gold. Your bronze tier, the essential care package, is your entry point. This includes semi-annual visits. During these visits, your technician performs a comprehensive check on every fixture you installed. They're not just looking for leaks. They're checking flapper seals for silent leaks that drive up water bills. They're checking the fill valves, the supply lines, and the mounting security. They're running a diagnostic on every single component. The client receives a detailed report after each visit, giving them peace of mind and a paper trail proving they are proactively maintaining their property. This tier also includes priority service. If they do have a problem, they don't go into the general queue, they go to the front of the line. Your silver tier, the proactive performance package, is where you want most people to land. This includes everything in the bronze tier, but you increase the frequency to quarterly visits. You also add 1 annual drain line inspection for the main restroom lines using a camera. You're not just preventing toilet failures. You're now preventing catastrophic backups. You can show the business owner the video footage, giving them an unprecedented look into the health of their building's infrastructure. This package also includes a 10% discount on any future repairs or services that fall outside the plan. This creates loyalty. Now, even if they need a different service, they're incentivized to call you. Then you have the gold tier, the zero downtime partnership. This is for your high-value clients. Restaurants, medical facilities, high-traffic retail. This is a monthly service. It includes everything from the silver package, but you add services like annual water heater flushing, water pressure regulation checks, and a water efficiency audit. You'll analyze their utility bills and show them how upgrading other fixtures, like aerators and faucets, could save them thousands of dollars a year. The gold tier might also include a small block of prepaid emergency hours. For a restaurant, knowing they have a plumber on retainer who will be there in under an hour on a Saturday night is not a luxury. It's a business-critical necessity. How do you price this? You don't guess. You calculate how many hours each visit will take, factor in your travel and overhead, and add your profit margin. A bronze plan might be $99 a month, silver $199 a month, gold $499 a month. These numbers might seem high, but you have to frame them against the alternative. You tell the business owner, one emergency weekend call-out for a major clog could cost you $500 or more. One of your 3 restrooms being out of order on your busiest day could cost you thousands in lost sales and reputational damage. Our silver plan, for less than the cost of a daily cup of coffee for your staff, eliminates that entire category of risk from your business. When you frame it like that, the decision becomes simple. It's the logical, responsible choice for any serious business owner. Now imagine the power of this. You complete a 10-toilet install, and you walk away with a $200 a month recurring revenue contract. That's $2,400 a year from a single client, for work you can schedule during your slow periods. Now what happens when you get 10 clients on that plan? That's $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. What about 50 clients? That's $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year in guaranteed, predictable revenue before you've sold a single new installation. This is how you break the feast or famine cycle forever. This recurring revenue covers your overhead, your shop rent, your truck payments, your insurance, your key salaries. It becomes the stable foundation upon which you can build. It smooths out your cash flow, reduces your stress, and allows you to be more selective about the big projects you take on. You're no longer desperate, you're strategic. Furthermore, this transforms the value of your business itself. A business with a list of one-time customers is sold based on its assets, its trucks and tools. A business with a portfolio of recurring revenue contracts is sold on a multiple of that revenue. You are literally building a sellable, valuable asset, not just a job for yourself. This entire checklist, every step from the initial client meeting to the final cleanup, was never just about the toilet. It was about building a system of trust. It was a performance designed to prove you are the only logical choice for a long-term partnership. The meticulous planning, the perfect execution, the obsessive communication, that's what earns you the right to present your facility wellness program. So the ultimate question you need to ask yourself is this: are you in the business of installing toilets? Or are you in the business of selling peace of mind? Are you a contractor who hunts for his next meal every day? Or are you a business owner who is building a farm that feeds you predictably forever? The checklist is your tool, but the system of recurring revenue is your empire. And to help you build it, we've created the ultimate toolkit. In the description below, you'll find a link to download our free Facility Wellness Program template. It has the exact tiered structure we discussed, sample service lists, and a pricing calculator to help you customize it for your own business. It is a plug-and-play system for you to start building recurring revenue today. Don't let this just be another video you watch. Be one of the few who takes this information and acts on it. Download the template, implement this strategy on your very next job, and start the process of transforming your business from a roller coaster ride into a fortress. Your future self will thank you.